Can Jacoby Brissett get it done against the Cincinnati Bengals defense? And is Jamar Chase going to play? That and more in our first crossover of the season with the New England Patriots.
You are Locked On Bengals, your daily Cincinnati Bengals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, Bengals fans? What's going on, Patriots fans? Welcome in to Crossover Thursday on the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm Jake Liscow, along with James Rapien from Locked On Bengals, today with Mike Debate from Locked On Patriots as we bring you our first crossover of the season. Crossover Thursday, as always, is presented by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. You can check it out at prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL to win $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to get that $50 bonus. Prize Picks, run your game. Welcome into the everydayers of the Locked On Bengals and Locked On Patriots podcast. Appreciate all of you out there who make us your first listen. And Mike, tell us about the things going on with the New England Patriots this year. Bengals fans, perhaps not the most intimately familiar. Jacoby Brissett will be starting at quarterback. What's the biggest story going on right now with the Patriots offense?
Right now, Jake, that is the biggest story going on with the Patriots offense. The veteran Jacoby Brissett getting the ball over the number 3 overall pick, Drake May. Drake had a solid spring. He had a solid summer. He had a very good preseason, and that led a lot of people to believe that he may actually get the ball as early as this opening weekend. But ultimately, the Patriots erring on the side of caution. They looked at the offensive line, looked at all the factors involved. They looked at Drake's progression and his readiness to be able to start. And I think at this point, they decided that it was better to go with the veteran. And honestly, I think they made the right decision here. Obviously, the fan base in New England is eager to see what they have in Drake May, and they'll get a heavy dose of it in due time. But right now, Jacoby Brissett is a better navigator of the field and someone with a little bit more temperance to be able to read coverages at the line of scrimmage, be able to call plays when he needs to, and be able to go off script if he needs to as well. Drake is very good at going off script, but at this point, Jacoby Brissett has the temperance that the Patriots are going to need there. So this, to me, is going to be the biggest story heading into this matchup. Can the veteran Jacoby Brissett navigate through a makeshift offensive line to be able to find ways to get the football to his receivers and be able to facilitate the run? Alex Van Pelt's offense is predicated on using the run to set up deep shots down the field and to set up play action. The Patriots have to try to establish the run early here. If they don't, they're going to be in a heap of trouble.
Let's talk about that offensive line a little bit, because I assume that was a big factor in the Drake May decision. And I also assume that's probably why you mentioned they want to run the ball. It's probably to protect that offensive line a bit. So what are we looking at from the Patriots offensive line going into Sunday?
You're probably looking at a makeshift unit. The only name that I think Bengals fans may recognize at this point, and seeing who they have, well, I should say there are two. David Andrews, the center, has been an established member of this team, once again a team captain. Everything's going to run through him in the center position to try to navigate that line. But the Patriots also have Michael Wenu, who has played right guard, right tackle a little bit. He's their most established and probably their best offensive lineman when it comes to a skill set. But then you're looking at a lot of question marks, James. You're looking at possibly Chukwuekorafo taking snaps either on the right or the left side. He's a natural right tackle. He struggled on the left, but he has taken a good amount of snaps there. Darian Lowe, the veteran that the Patriots picked up last year, played a lot of left tackle. He's been injured. He did practice on Wednesday, was limited in that. So keep an eye on the injury reports throughout the week to find out if Darian is going to suit up on the left side. Sidy Sow, their left guard, he's been banged up with an ankle injury. He's a name to watch as well. And the Patriots right now are struggling to fill that last spot, either in right guard or right tackle, with a mixture of the rookie Caden Wallace or possibly the rookie Layden Robinson. So a lot of question marks on this offensive line for New England right now. I think you hit the nail on the head when it comes to Jacoby Brissett. He might be best suited to be able to play through what I'm sure is going to be a fearsome Bengals defensive front, just eager to get after whatever quarterback they're facing on Sunday.
I would be terrified of that left tackle matchup with whoever it is, if it's a Okorafor or if it's Lowe, playing against Trey Hendrickson on an island. If the Patriots have to drop back and pass the ball, they're just not going to win the game.
Right.
I mean, that would be a place you don't want to be if you're the Patriots. And meanwhile, we're going to talk about this when we get to the Bengals defensive side of the ball. That Bengals run defense is going to be tested early in this game and early in this season. And that is a big question mark for the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's get to the defensive side of the ball for the Patriots, Mike. Something that looks like a strength to me by comparison to the offense, where it's not as exciting in New England. Am I on the right track there?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely on the right track, Jake. I think that when New England Patriots defense right now pulled them out of so many holes last year where these games could have gotten ugly in a hurry, this team actually was able to keep these players and keep this team in games with a strong defensive performance. Basically from the up front, from the front seven to the defensive secondary. Now, the Patriots are missing two key members of that defense that are going to really be glaring omissions. One is Matthew Judon, who is no longer a member of the New England Patriots. He was traded to the Atlanta Falcons. Patriots played the majority of the season without Matthew, but he was such a facilitator in the way this team likes to either rush the passer or be able to defend against the run. The Patriots need someone with that type of enthusiasm and also that type of energy to be able to be a facilitator the way Matthew was. And so far, that's been a difficult get for the New England Patriots. The other, perhaps the most important omission right now is Christian Barmore suffering from blood clots earlier this year. Very scary situation. Christian is in good spirits. He was actually in the locker room on Wednesday visiting his teammates. So the hope is to get him back, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. So the Patriots need a lot of help from that defensive front seven in order to take pressure off of that secondary. Christian Gonzalez is going to be someone who is really, coming back from a season-ending injury last year. He's going to have to get back into the swing of things. That defense and that secondary can be tested, but it's going to be up to the front seven to put pressure and be able to protect them a little bit. It's going to be a tough task against Joe Burrow in this offense.
I find that so fascinating because to me, when I look at it, the secondary looks like the strength. And I think that the trenches don't scare me as much as some other teams do on the Bengals schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if the Bengals do play this game smartly, they will attack the Patriots' weaknesses on the front seven because that secondary is the better part and that stronger part. And actually, the most importantly, Jake, it's the healthiest part of this Patriots team right now. So it's really going to be about whether or not the Pats' front seven can find that X factor to be able to shore it up.
Some familiar faces on the Bengals offense when it comes to the Patriots. Obviously, we've had Ted Karras here for a couple of years in Cincinnati, but Mike Gesicki joining the team. And then Trent Brown, who was obviously a big part of the Super Bowl team in 2018. Was there ill will at the end of last year? It was kind of a weird situation there. How much is it being talked about, if at all, right now, as Drake May watches on, is the fact that Trent Brown is going to be facing the Patriots?
Yeah, I think if you probably hooked up either Jacoby or Drake to a lie detector test right now, they probably both want Trent Brown protecting their blind side. But yeah, I think there was probably a little bit of acrimony leaving, but I don't think it was as guttural as a lot of people would have you believe. It's not a major storyline coming out of New England right now, simply because I believe Trent felt that he had played his string here in New England and was looking for a new challenge. And I think New England was looking to get younger at the position, probably move on, not be able to shell out a large contract. I think it would have been more palatable for Patriots fans if they had selected a solid left tackle earlier on in the draft or going after someone with an established history by a free agency. But look, when Trent is locked in, he's one of the best tackles in the game. He's a mountain of a man that can absolutely get after it. Athleticism for a guy his size is extremely impressive. So he's going to be a problem for this defense coming up. Patriots have to account for it. But from a personal standpoint, I covered Trent for the years that he was here in New England. Never had a problem with him. I wish him nothing but the best. And I think Cincinnati will be happy with what he's going to bring to the table this season.
We wish him nothing but the best as well, of course, as this season begins in Cincinnati. We will shift gears and dive into the biggest stories on the Bengals side of things coming up next.
Today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the app you need to get right now because football is here, which means fantasy football is here, and Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. All you do is pick more or less on a 2 to 6 player stat projection and watch the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get in on the action on sports in most states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. And all you have to do is go to and download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL. You'll get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONNFL on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even have to win to receive the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. So go to Prize Picks today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Bengals fans and Patriots fans, welcome back to today's crossover episode, bringing you right up to kickoff, hopefully on Sunday, September 8th, the season opener, Paycor Stadium, Cincinnati, Ohio, the Queen City, the New England Patriots traveling to face the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm Mike DeBate, host of Locked On Patriots, and of course joining me, Jake Liscow, James Rapien of Locked On Bengals. And gentlemen, it's obviously a home game for the Cincinnati Bengals, and there's a lot of hope and a lot of enthusiasm about this team this year. Something, unfortunately, Patriots fans cannot relate to right at this moment. However, there are a lot of storylines heading into this one. Obviously, the biggest being on the offensive side of the ball. I think I know which way you guys are going to lean on this one. We're all on Chase Watch here in the NFL, but I leave the question to you, gentlemen. What do you believe is the biggest story heading into this game right now for the Bengals on offense?
I'll say this. I would have lost the more than or less than different storylines on Prize Picks that could surpass Joe Burrow's wrist all offseason. And yet here we are with the regular season just a few days away. You nailed it. I mean, it is Jamar Chase. And Jamar Chase limited in practice on Wednesday, catching some passes during the open media portion of practice, going through team stretch for the first time with media in attendance all season long, and then caught a few passes in what was still, I think, individual, but there were some other possible defenders on the field that in the video that the Bengals posted after the media left. But yeah, will Jamar Chase play? Will he get an extension? Do they go hand in hand? And I think that's what's interesting is Joe Burrow. Everyone knew the Bengals were going to pay Joe Burrow, and it took until Thursday night during the season opener of the NFL 2023 season for them to come to an agreement. We don't know that about Jamar Chase, and yet the unknown there could also mean that the Bengals are confident they're going to get it done, and so we just don't know. And are they going to? If they don't, will Jamar be willing to play, or is he practicing now, hoping that that facilitates a deal and moves things in the right direction? There are so many questions and not many answers. But yeah, I think that there's a good chance that Jamar plays because he was on the practice field Wednesday. It leaves the door open for that. At the same time, I think there's still a very real possibility that he isn't on the field on Sunday. And that's going to be Chase Watch until a contract is done or until Sunday at 1 p.m.
Yeah, I think in terms of wide receivers or in terms of any offensive weapon, Jamar Chase defines the term game changer because he simply is that. He is that good. But Cincinnati definitely has a lot of pass catchers that are capable of beating you in so many ways, whether you're looking at T. Higgins or believe me, you mentioned Mike Gesicki earlier. We know that he can play in the slot from his time here in New England. So these can all be weapons for Joe Burrow, who is coming back from a season-ending injury last year, and we're looking forward to seeing him on the field as well and what he can do against this Patriots secondary, particularly against cornerback Christian Gonzalez, who really I think is looking for his first major test coming back from a season-ending injury on his own. But if the Patriots are to be successful, especially on defense, we know, James, that they're going to try to force the Bengals to run the football. The Bengals struggled to run the football last year. This is a team that did have its difficulties, and 89.8 yards were the only average. Now, obviously, they've dealt with the loss of Joe Mixon. They're turned the team over to Zach Moss, Chase Brown, and Travion Williams. What do you believe is going to be the catalyst now for this team on offense if they're forced to run the ball maybe a little more than they'd like?
Well, they have made an effort to overhaul some of their skill group, and that includes the addition of Zach Moss, who they feel might be a better fit for what they'd like to do, and the emergence of Chase Brown, who provides more dynamism and more of an explosive play threat than Joe Mixon did in his last years in Cincinnati. In addition to that, Tyler Boyd no longer with the Bengals, and perhaps in related to the running game, his replacement in Andre Yosevich, a more willing blocker, might be that seventh guy that you need to execute in the running game to actually spring off some of those explosive blocks. Or maybe you actually get it blocked up well with your offensive line and your tight end if you're an 11 personnel, which the Bengals often are, and you need that seventh blocker, the wide receiver, to make a block that's really going to spring things, turn it into a 17-yard run instead of a 7-yard run on a play that is executed well in the running game. I think there's reason to be optimistic that they have improved from a run blocking perspective there. And then the question remains as to whether or not the receiving production of Tyler Boyd will be replaced and what that looks like. The Bengals probably will use more of a rotation than they have in past years, where it was big 3+ in Cincinnati. And this year it is, how does Jamar Chase and T. Higgins affect the defense? And then what else is on the field with those guys to take advantage of those potential matchups? And Jamar Chase, obviously the question mark still remains there, but he does dictate to defenses more than any other player on this Bengals offense.
Very well said. And again, I think in a lot of respects, this team right now, if they're able to find, ways to challenge this Patriots defense, could be a long day for the Patriots in the Queen City, no question about it. But Cincinnati also coming in with a lot of prowess on defense. You mentioned them licking their chops earlier about taking advantage of a mismatch at left tackle. New England is going to try to counter that by running the football. That's exactly what Alex Van Pelt loves to do in this offense, and use the run, primarily Ramondre Stevenson. Antonio Gibson has proven that this outside zone concept that the Patriots have implemented is a good fit. In terms of defense, what do you think is the biggest story from the Bengals defensively that's going to allow them to contain the Patriots running game?
That's certainly the biggest question mark facing this team, I would say. Outside of the Jamar extension, I guess you could talk about health if you wanted to, but from a pure football standpoint, it's stopping the run. And they lose DJ Reader in free agency. They draft McKinley Jackson, who's on injured reserve. They draft Chris Jenkins, who is probably going to be the first defensive tackle off the bench on Sunday. Maybe it's Zach Carter. I think it should be Chris Jenkins. We'll see. The second rounder out of Michigan. But yeah, I think you look at Sheldon Rankins, you look at BJ Hill, and they're going to be relying on those guys a lot. And then you really need Jenkins to emerge quickly. And he's going to be tested. I thought he had a really good preseason where he was trending upward each and every day in camp, and certainly in the joint practices and preseason games that he played in. They need him to show up on Sunday and be a difference maker, unless Zach Carter is going to emerge. But I think that we've kind of seen what we're potentially going to get from him, for better or worse, from a defensive standpoint. So I look at Chris Jenkins, and it's a huge game for him. It's his rookie debut, his NFL debut, and yet the Bengals are banking on him because of some injuries, because of that situation that they have at defensive tackle. I would say this too. They didn't have a healthy Sam Hubbard for a lot of last year. He was playing through an ankle injury that was pretty serious, had surgery after the season. Having a healthy Hubbard in the mix as well, that matters, and that is going to be a factor on defense as well. But the teeth in the heart of that tackle room, they really need Chris Jenkins to emerge behind the two veterans.
I'll just add on to that and say they're going to be schematically different as well. They do not have a true nose tackle on the team right now besides Jay Tufele, who might be the guy who probably would be the guy they would put in that role if they choose to align with three defensive tackles, which they do from time to time to match base. The other thing I would say is they've really emphasized the improvement in communication from the back to the front, from the safeties down to the front four. And that is something that we'll see how much of a difference that can make in the running game. Those are the biggest stories on both sides of the ball. Coming up next, let's talk about the 3 keys to victory for both sides of the ball to finish up this crossover Thursday.
Today's show is brought to you by LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs, well, it's not just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals that you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job, but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. You should too, and you can get started by posting your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnfl. That is linkedin.com/lockedonnfl to post your job for free. LinkedIn knows small businesses, so get there today. linkedin.com/lockedonnfl. Terms and conditions apply.
Let's discuss keys to victory as the Cincinnati Bengals take on the New England Patriots in Cincinnati in week 1 of the 2024 NFL season, and Crossover Thursday presented by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Check it out at prizepicks.com/lockedonnfl, and with promo code LockedOnNFL, you will win $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win that $50 bonus. Prize Picks, run your game. Mike, let's start from the New England Patriots perspective. What needs to go right for the Patriots to win this game?
Well, they have to establish the run first and foremost, and I think we've pretty much covered the reasons why. The Patriots are dealing with a makeshift offensive line, a quarterback right now that is trying to manage the game, keep his players healthy, and try to move the ball and navigate the field. And you're also dealing with a situation where the Patriots are trying to incorporate the run to utilize their strengths. So that's going to be a key. If they cannot establish the run, Patriots are going to have a very difficult time winning this game or even remaining competitive in this game. The second is to control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Establishing the run on offense is part of that, but the Patriots also need to try to keep the ball in the hands of the Cincinnati running backs. As much as you guys have said that the Cincinnati running game has improved, and it definitely has, it's a huge challenge for the Patriots. If Joe Burrow starts to tee off on the secondary, which Patriots fans are hoping is the strength of this defense, again, a long day in the Queen City for New England. And the last is going to require some skill, but it's going to require a little bit of luck as well. The Patriots try to have to force turnovers or capitalize on a turnover, get a big play, and be able to make something happen downfield. If they can do all three of those, they have a puncher's chance in this game. If any one of those falters, again, it's going to be a very difficult road to beat the Cincinnati Bengals, who I believe are stronger in all three phases right now.
Yeah, I think it's fair, and it's going to go hand in hand with the Bengals keys. If the Bengals are going to win this game, we'll start on defense, because who wants to start with Joe Burrow or Jamar Chase, right? We'll bury the lead a bit. And they have to slow down the run. You can't let Ramondre Stevenson run all over you. If there is the blueprint, it's that. It's giving Jacoby Brissett this lifeline where he can rely on the running game and then make plays because he's a veteran quarterback against a young secondary. Dax Hill's going to make his first career start at outside cornerback, where they're really banking on him to play. Now, he's played outside corner a little bit, but not really as a rookie. It doesn't count. I saw Jake there. But so we'll see. And that's a question mark. But to me, the run part of it is the major factor and the biggest question. And then 2, it's going to be Joe Burrow. Healthy Joe Burrow can win this game without Jamar Chase. As big of a storyline as Jamar Chase is Jamar's wrist 100%. He said he's feeling great, but even he didn't say 100%, because I think he wants to go out there, get hit, pop up, all of the things that come back from the injury. At the same time, he said he's bigger, stronger, faster than he's ever been. The arm's feeling great. All of those things. He just didn't use the words 100%. So maybe we will see that on Sunday. Healthy Joe Burrow goes a long way. And then, and I get it, no Barmore, no Matt Judon, but I think it would be weird if we weren't talking about the offensive line for this Cincinnati Bengals unit, just because it's been such a talking point. You mentioned Trent Brown and your confidence in him. I think Bengals fans will love hearing that, because they haven't seen or heard a lot of him practicing this camp. And I think the Bengals did that by design to get him to week 1. So he is ready to go because of the health questions and all of those things that he's dealt with throughout his career. And so we'll see on Sunday, but that is a question mark. Will this offensive line, Orlando Brown Jr. at left tackle, Trent Brown at right tackle, 3 now veterans with Volson, Kappa, and Karras in the middle, will they be able to protect Joe Burrow and be the best unit he's had? We'll get the first glance of it, first look of it on Sunday.
Very well said. That is a tactic, and I think that has been used and employed here in New England when it comes to Trent Brown. So very astute observation, James. That's something to keep an eye on for Bengals fans.
I think it's interesting how these keys to the game really do go hand in hand. I mean, sometimes we talk about things that are not necessarily directly clashing when we do these shows, when we do these crossovers. We don't always say the Patriots obviously need to run the ball. The Bengals obviously need to defend the run. It's not always so clear cut, but it really does in so many ways come down to that is a weakness on the Bengals team that the Patriots can use to get their whole offense going. And if they don't get it going, like I said in the first segment of our show today, if Jacoby Brissett is drop back passing and the Patriots are down 10 points or something in the second half, that's really not where you want to be. When you can't threaten play action, when you can't threaten the run, when Trey Hendrickson and Sheldon Rankins, the penetrating prize addition for the Bengals to help replace some of DJ Reader's snaps and production from last offseason, can pin their ears back along with potentially Joseph Osai, Sam Hubbard, and BJ Hill. That would be a place where I'd be feeling really confident as a Bengals fan. And on the other side of things, if the running game is successful for the Patriots, how much does that unlock the play action, deep shot kind of stuff, the sudden change stuff? And you talked about turnovers as well. I often talk about week one weirdness, Mike, and I think we could agree that the expected outcome of this game is that the Bengals win. At least a few months ago, and I see that the line has changed since then, this was the biggest line in week one. I'm not sure what exactly it is today, but it was double digits a while ago. And then the Jamar Chase stuff happened, and Joe Burrow's wrist still has some questions as he refuses to affirm that he is, in fact, 100%, despite feeling, according to him, the best he's felt going into a season. But the way that this goes off the rails to me is, like you've talked about, the sudden change kind of plays, those deep shots off of play action, if those are available to the Patriots, and then the turnovers can really make things fluky. And we see some weird stuff happen in week one sometimes. So those are the things on my radar when I'm thinking about how these keys all fit together as we talk about how this game might go.
Well, if Stevenson gets going, then Javon Baker may get over the top on Baxill on that one, or on DJ Turner on that one, because you have these questions on that one play, and then suddenly you're looking up, and if the Patriots have the lead, you have some uneasiness in the crowd in the third quarter. Like, you could see it. You can certainly see the path to it. There's just a lot of things I feel like that need to happen for that to be the case.
Yeah, without a question. And a lot would need to go the Patriots' way. And once again, you've mentioned that the Patriots have the talent to be able to make plays happen. They've got guys capable of doing that. Demario Douglas was one of their biggest playmakers last year. He's coming off a good season and has had a very good spring and a very good summer and again, a good preseason. So he's a name to watch on Sunday as well. So the Patriots can start making things happen a little bit and get a rhythm going on offense. Their defense can set, and then you're talking about a cornerback room that features Jonathan Jones, the veteran, that features Christian Gonzalez, the exciting second-year rookie. And I say second-year rookie because he didn't have much of a sample size in his rookie season. And Marcus Jones coming back and being in the slot, someone who's very speedy and capable of making plays when he needs to. It's going to be an exciting game, I think, on Sunday for both sides, and it's just great to have football back. And it's great to be back on Crossover Thursday here on the network as well.
It's been a treat talking with you, Mike. We're looking forward to the game on Sunday, and we have one more episode on Locked On Bengals for a game preview for you. Then we'll be back after the game with your instant takeaways from week one. That's going to do it, though, for this Crossover Thursday. Glad to have it back. Remember, you can find Locked On Patriots and Locked On Bengals wherever you get your podcasts on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.